We're known as the judgment-free zone, a place with no gym intimidation, where you can work out any way you want and always feel free to be yourself. Speaking of our comfortable, judgment-free approach, another thing you may have heard about is our lunk alarm. It's our way of keeping the right atmosphere in the gym, and that's what we're all about at Planet Fitness.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we have yet another story from Planet Fitness, or shall we call it pervert fitness, predator fitness. Another story of yet another man in the women's locker room. And this story is more sinister than usual, believe it or not. Remember, this is the gym that put out a memo to their staff saying that it doesn't matter if you are uncomfortable with men in the locker room. You being uncomfortable doesn't matter. It's not an excuse to not be inclusive. Multiple women have had their membership revoked simply for objecting to this insanity, simply for caring about their safety and the safety of their daughters. If you dare complain and make it known that you are uncomfortable with a man being in your locker room, you may very well have your membership revoked. And we have another story of yet another woman having a membership revoked because she simply reacted in a normal way, in a way that a woman would react if a man walked into their locker room. A New Hampshire woman said her Planet Fitness membership was cancelled after she said she raised concerns about a man being in the women's locker room. Judy Walcott said she is frustrated with how the situation was handled. Yeah, no kidding. They revoke the membership of yet another female. At this point, if you have a Planet Fitness membership, I'm urging you, you need to cancel it because they are endangering women. And on top of that, they are punishing women for simply wanting safety and privacy.
Imagine a gym canceling your membership because you went up to the front desk and reported seeing a man in the women's locker room. Think about this happening. It happened again, this time in Concord, New Hampshire, but instead of addressing the situation like adults and kicking this guy out of the women's locker room, Planet Fitness instead called our next guest transphobic and then canceled her membership, which is now becoming a trend at Planet Fitness. In 2024, this guy right here was caught shaving in the women's locker room. Who shaves at Planet Fitness? And this guy's not even trying. Like, that is a guy dressed as a guy in the women's room. Judy Walcott is with us now. She's the one who reported this most recent incident at Planet Fitness in New Hampshire. Judy, nice to have you with us. Can you take us through what happened?
Well, I was there and went to use the facilities, and there was a large guy who just didn't look like a trans woman. There was no women's clothing. There was nothing feminine. It was just a big guy who looked kind of scary and creepy. And so I went out rather than engaging with him. I went out, I went to the front desk, and I told him about it.
What was he doing? Was he changing, or what was he doing?
He was hanging his stuff up outside the shower, getting ready to take a shower.
Okay. So you went to the front desk, and then they called you transphobic, and somebody ultimately canceled your membership?
Well, it didn't quite go down like that. The kid who I reported it to was new. He was young, and I knew he wasn't going to help me. He said there was nothing he could do, so I just let the women there know that there was a man in the shower, and I just waited till he was done to go back in. A few days later, I talked to a girl at the counter who I know, who I've talked to regularly.
Yeah.
To find out what happens when this happens. Like, nothing happened, and it should have. And so she immediately, she didn't answer me. She started going on about some woman, some beautiful woman, and I didn't know who she was talking about.
Was she talking about the guy?
She was talking about the guy, but the funny thing is, nobody checked to see who it was. So how could she even know who I was talking about?
Wow. Okay. So then your membership ultimately is canceled, right? It's still canceled. Yeah. Which is just ridiculous. And you told one of my producers that the guy who was in the ladies' room is upset that you called this out. Is that accurate as well?
So what happened? This all new this morning. Is somebody called Gator Boy on Facebook reposted my article and then posted pictures of this guy and his criminal, public record of he's a sex offender.
Great. Okay.
I don't know who Gator Boy is.
Yeah.
I don't know how he knows. The picture looks exactly like the person I saw. it looks the same. So
All right.
it looks like if the sex offender walked into the facility and now he wants to sue me because...
Yeah, we don't have...
So there you have it. It gets worse. And this is what I keep saying. When you have policies that says that somebody can enter into the women's locker room based on gender identity, which is absolutely ridiculous, you allow any man to walk in there. And now a sex offender has walked into the women's locker room. Somebody who allegedly is down on the registry, somebody who's got charges of stalking, and this man is allowed into the women's locker room. This man is protected. This man is apparently referred to as being a beautiful woman because he puts a certain label on himself and now is able to use that label as a shield and is given access to women rather than protecting the female clients from sex predators. They are inviting them into the locker room. This is how it works at Planet Fitness. We've had men doing untoward things in bathroom stalls, in showers at Planet Fitness. There was that incident I was even caught on camera. Just by looking at the guy's shadow, it was obvious what he was doing. And a young lady walks in and sees that. This is the sort of thing that is being allowed at Planet Fitness. All because of a policy that says no matter what, if a man claims to identify as a woman, he's allowed to have access to women, undressing, showering. And women deserve no protection whatsoever. Doesn't even matter if they are uncomfortable. Doesn't even matter whether or not they consent. It is absolutely sick. Why any woman has a membership at Planet Fitness, I do not know at this point. Why any man would allow his daughter to have a membership at Planet Fitness, I do not know. If you want to find out the details of this individual, it's all on X. If a man can use the women's facilities, then there are no women's facilities. Planet Fitness is not a safe space for women and girls. They must be boycotted until they change their policies. Why is anyone still paying for a membership to Planet Fitness? Bankrupt them. Women and girls are not safe in their bathrooms. What are people not getting? I wouldn't ever go to Planet Fitness. They side with S offenders who use their showers. Just a disgusting gym. So if you're defending this individual, a man who went into the women's bathroom because, he claims to identify as a woman. If you're referring to this woman who raised the alarm as transphobic, you were taken up for a sex offender. You were taken up for a predator. It's as simple as that. You can't have it both ways. And you're telling this woman that she has to be okay with sex offenders being in her locker room. That's what you're telling her. Planet Fitness has made it clear that we're not even allowed to be uncomfortable with a man walking into the locker room, not knowing if he's a sex offender or not. I guess because the organisation has bowed to this ideology and doesn't care about the safety of women. It's as simple as that. They've made their position very clear, they've shown no remorse, and they've continued to punish women who simply speak up for their rights, for their safety, women who simply speak up for the protection of other women and little girls. And that's all we need to know about Planet Fitness. So let me know what you think. Do you have a Planet Fitness membership? If you do, are you going to be cancelling? So thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video. And a huge thanks to all of those who have hyped my videos. It is greatly appreciated.